Ciao a tutti! Oggi parleremo dell'aggiornamento assetto corsa competizione 1.8 con fisica aggiornata, ottimizzazioni delle prestazioni grafiche, naturalmente una nuova auto gratuita, la BMW M4 GT3. Amo l'Italia, la loro cultura automobilistica, la loro cultura musicale e naturalmente che i loro simulatori di corsa. Whoa, had something stuck in my throat there. While I'm likely going to cover the addition of DLSS in a second separate video in order to really compare performance benefit versus visual cost, this video is going to focus mostly on the physics and driving experience of the new car. There's really not much else to say before we get stuck into it and drive this thing for the first time ever. So make yourself some popcorn, recline on your armchair and smash that subscribe button harder than Bottas smashed the dreams of the tarmac paver at Qatar. Ahoy! Welcome to ACC version 1.8, the massive update that's been teased for so long now that Kunos seems so proud of. We're here in the BMW M4 GT3 at the Nürburgring GP circuit. I almost did Laguna Seca, but it's BMW, it's got to be tested at Germany, right? This is probably where they were testing the car in real life, so, you know, it's just what you have to do. I've loaded this up for the first time. It's literally my first time booting into version 1.8, so if you haven't tried the update yet, this is literally our first time delving in and seeing what's going on. Tons of changes. I'll try and talk about as many of them as I remember during the actual drive. I don't want the tires to drop too much pressure, so let's get into this.
Give it all you can.
But a very important thing, whenever you try out a new car in ACC, you got to shut up for at least a few seconds, believe it or not, I'm going to try and do that, and listen to the engine. Ooh, chunky. Oh, the rev limiter. Oh, yes. No, that was the turbo. Oh, that's hot. Pink pit limiter. Okay, well that's feeling a bit different. So that 400 hertz to the physics from 333 in the old version to 400. Believe it or not, I think you can immediately feel more granular detail. Either that or I've been driving way too much iRacing lately and anything that isn't that feels like better FFB. More to come on that in a completely separate video, by the way. Don't worry about that here. Whoa! Okay, so one thing that they were talking about on the stream is that with the new tire model, it takes longer to get the tires up to temp. Takes longer to warm them up, but they retain the heat for longer in the core, which is meant to be more realistic to real life. And so far, I'm definitely noticing the effect of, look at that understeer. So cold tires, definitely a thing. It's just like, wow. The car itself drives very much like, it's like the AMG in a way. It's very, very front engine, kind of has that statesman feel to it, you know, it's like driving a couch more so than a car, because I'm used to driving mid-engine layout cars through here, so the R8, the McLaren 720S, which we'll test out later at a track I'm fairly familiar with. I'm kind of curious what these updates have done to the lap times. So I'm very, very curious whether we've actually been slowed down, sped up, or whether it's been any notable difference whatsoever. There does seem to be more granular stuff going on. I almost want to put the filtering a little bit higher. It's strange. It's strange. I'll try it out on the McLaren though, something I know far better than this car. But so far, so good. Oh, other than the understeer, my lord, I need to move that brake bias way, 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 way back. All right, here we go for our first proper lap though. I don't think the tires are up to temp yet. No, still understeering. So additions to this on top of that. My god, you have the new Unreal Engine 4 editions, like a new version of temporal anti-aliasing, which I'm running right now, which I think is costing me a few frames here at 4K, but that's fine. We're here to enjoy. Whoa, okay. Brakes aren't working as well as I'd hope. The car is very, very snappy under power mid-corner, or like on corner exits as well. She really likes to break out the rear even with the TC at 3. Really likes to kind of keep rotating there. Tires look like they're almost in the window. Very cool though, very fun to drive. Probably a great learner's car once it's set up nicely. Still with that understeer though. I think you're definitely looking at tuning the understeer out of this one. That's definitely more of its character. It's not going to be too snappy. Unless you have a lead throttle foot like me. Oh, dear Lord. We're close. We're close to the window, but we aren't quite there yet. Alright, starting to rotate through the Schumacher S now. So all kinds of things. Whole new livery pack for the 2021 GT3 season. Then there's, of course, the updates to the career mode, I believe. I don't even know what those are. Then there's updates to the cinematic replay feature, amazing for people like myself and other content creators looking to get good angles from the exterior, which I'm hopefully splicing in, unless I'm lazy, splicing in on top of this footage. Again, it depends. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to get my hands on this prior to release, so like you folks, I'm actually driving this for the first time post-release. A very, very authentic reaction, I guess, to hopefully what you'll have when you drive it for the first time. All right, let's do this. Let's pretend that I can actually do something with this car. Temps are almost there, just the left side's a bit weird. I'm about 3 seconds off, so... Okay, rely on that. Wow, the sounds, the downshifts, it's so brutal. Kunoz always upping the quality of the sound engines. Definitely still understeering like crazy. Except when you get on the throttle, at which point it oversteers like crazy. It's a very, very interesting car handling-wise. Very unlike the McLaren I'm used to driving. That's what I love about ACC. It renders the layouts of different cars so well these days. As those of you who follow this channel would know by now, ACC has generally become my de facto main sim over the last year. So it's always cool to see those incremental updates, which Kunoz are essentially masters of now. Come on, let's at least get into the 155 so I can pretend I can at least get a somewhat mediocre time. There we go. Oh, she just munches the curbs. I don't even know where the ideal shift point is. The one you're not using. Alright. So different going through there in a front engine car. Here we go. The chicane one more time. She's wild. She is wild through there. You can brake so deep in this car. It's so nice on the brakes. Don't know about on the throttle, but definitely on the brakes. I mean, still about 2 seconds off, but I'm very curious about that. It's like, has the tire model changed it? Are we closer to how the real-life cars would be doing? Because I think the real-life lap record on these tires and these cars is somewhere in the 156s. So, I mean, maybe if they've capped it so it's more realistic around the Nürburgring GP, that'd be absolutely brutal, but it might just be me sucking. So anyway, let's jump to a car and a track combo I'm more familiar with, and I can judge it from there. McLaren 720S here at Laguna Seca, one of my absolute favorite track and car combos in ACC, so let's go. I of course drove this the other day for the Overtake crew to do our TC and ABS video. I got into my usual qualifying times of the 121s. Now, I don't know whether the new update has slowed us down or whether it's just broken all the old setups, but I've had to really dig deep in here and try and work out what is going on. Because it is a completely different driving experience going through here, you know, sans the extra bumps and cool stuff that I'm feeling down there. There's really choppy bit of tarmac. Oh, and the cold tires are just brutal now. But there's definitely been quite a few changes. It kind of lulls you into a false sense of security because you think it's the same car and track you know and love, but then at key moments the car will just bite back, you know? It'll understeer when you don't expect it to, or snap when you don't expect it to, and then suddenly it's just like, whoa, what am I driving? So, that's what I'm here to find out. I don't think I'm capable of a time in the 121s anymore, at least not with this setup. If I can at least just put together something semi-competent, I think I'll be okay with that. And of course, talk about the experience. So, yes, definitely the cars that you know and love from ACC do handle differently. It may be a matter of them being slowed down as well, I don't know. which is, something that ACC, generally speaking, needed. I mean, most of the aliens are at least 1, if not more, seconds quicker than the real-life world records on the given tracks, so it's possible that that was something that was necessary. Now, whether or not that's actually the case or whether I just suck, it's hard to say. But let's see. Tires still aren't in the window yet, but we'll try it. We'll see what, if anything, we can achieve. Alright, could have gone worse. Oh man, you can really feel the curbing sucking you in more now. I don't think you can ride it like I used to. I used to just go right along that curbing, but no. I think it's the 400 hertz. You can actually, like the highly rippled curbing like here in Laguna, it starts to suck you off the track. Used to not really do that. No. Oh god, there's all this new understeer now as well. I have this memorized, it's part of my motor patterns, but it's just not the same anymore. I'm just trying to get used to it. It's both exciting but extremely frustrating at the same time, because you get used to something and you have to unlearn those motor patterns again. Alright, lucky last time here, let's see what we can do. I've been kind of unthrilled by my performances, but it feels like this has definitely slowed me down. And maybe it's a necessary slowdown. The way the car feels under braking is quite different. I didn't read anything about that changing, but it certainly feels that way to me. Those curbing is just sucking me out. It's kind of making me afraid. I don't have the confidence anymore. Alright, come on. Into the carousel now. Oh man, the way that it goes through there is so different. Wild. Well, it's certainly not perfection, but it's a good second slower than I normally get, so very interesting. I'm curious to delve more into this new update, see if I can make up for this lost time, or whether this is just an artifact of the new tire and physics model. Either way, it's very cool. It's more fun and engaging to drive, so lap times aside, it's very nice. Well, that was certainly very cool for a free update. ACC has now developed a long-running habit of making incremental physics improvements, which over time have made it one of the best sim racing titles out there. It's great to see that this tradition is continuing, even after the announcement of Assetto Corsa 2. We can only give props to Kunoz for the free car, physics updates, and of course the performance updates for those planning to use DLSS and FSR. Speaking of which, if you'd like a video specifically comparing 4K native versus DLSS performance and graphical quality, let me know. 4K is how I usually run ACC, so I'd be very curious to see how many frames we can get back and how much, if any, graphics quality we have to sacrifice for it. Until next time, smash that subscribe button harder than ACC smashes our graphics cards, and I'll see you all later.